so happy. And I want to talk about 3 years ago. Miriam Moramay told me about ISCAR University, and for me, this is was like a dream. And in this moment, I didn't speak anything English, and 2 years ago, I began to speak English, to learn English, and this is, I don't know, I feel so happy. I want to share my research, and I hope that you could help me to improve. Thank you. The name is Literacy Practices of the Children and Their Mothers in a Specific Social and Cultural Context. Research problem. The main problem is the disconnection between the aims of the school and the literacy practices in out of the school settings. Often, teachers don't know uses of literacy in a specific cultural context. And this is the authors that identify that problem. And in the empirical problem, I identified the children spoke about their different experiences with their mothers around the literacy practices in everyday life. The purpose is to know and understand the literacy practices in the social and cultural context, and to generate new literacy practices. My research questions are: how transform the teaching and learning process, taking into consideration the children and their mothers in their social context to generate new literacy practices, and which ones and who are literacy practices in the social and cultural context of the children and their mothers, and who is the social and cultural context. This is the place on where I was realizing the research. This is in the middle is the school, and around is the community. The your picture of the school and the community. The research social context is vulnerable, located in the north of San Luis Potosí city. There are people employment or with precarious employment. There are low incomes variable, change unsafe in the conformation of households and precarious health services. This is the situation. And most families care for children, and there are into different types of violence. Most families has different relationships, and they have different sons and daughters of different men, and this is a big problem. And I identify literacy practices in the cultural context. Government programs, for example, supports with relations of the politics event, religion, to go mass and catechism, family listening, singing and dancing a specific kind of music, parties, celebration of weddings and birthday of 15 years. This is very important for them. And personal job of women. Sometimes children are involved in the job of the mothers. And this is a day in the field. These women participate in different activities, and this is the children. And that kind of literacy practices have a relation with the practices, the government, the religion, family, parties, and personal and job. The social practice approach, the debate is from two positions. One, where reading and writing are natural skills, and the other is about practices that generate identities. And different approaches to literacy are literacy and learning, cognitive approaches to literacy. Another is social practice approaches, and literacy as text, multimodality, and multiliteracies. And in the approach that literacy is a social practice approach. Literacy practices involve interpersonal interaction, and they are permeated by historical and cultural factors through human experience. And I identify two models that Street analyze, and I identify that model in ideological model when literacy is a social practice and always involved in socially constructed epistemological principles. The ways in which people address reading and writing are themselves wrought in conceptions of knowledge, identity, and being. And all the literacy practice, also the literacy is permeated by power relations. I identify that two concepts, and I only try to put a little quote. And personal process is transformed into an interpersonal one. Every function in the child's cultural development appears twice, first on the social level and later on the individual level. First between people in their psychological, and then inside the child intra-psychological. And the transformation of an interpersonal process into an intrapersonal one is the result of a long series of developmental events. And the method is the research is qualitative data collection, participant observation in the classroom, household, and social context of the participants, informal talks, in interviews, and collection or writing productions. I use file diary, video, and audio recording. And the theoretical concepts are literacy, like a social practice, interpersonal and intrapersonal process. The unit of analysis is the social subject and its practices. And I use interactionist approach of analysis. And in order to depend on two women help me, Esther and Magdalena, women and family mothers, collaborate with the research. The first one, because she participated in a literacy practice in a group of first grade at primary school, triggered the process of empowerment of the mother and generate new literacy practices. And Magdalena participated because her daughter helped to learn with the knowledge of the school. And Magdalena never went to school because she is a woman, and her father she is a domestic worker, and she never went to school. And the process, the children go with the knowledge to the house, and the mother go with the knowledge to the school. And generate new literacy practices. This is the interpersonal process, interpersonal process, and literacy social practice. And the theory and empirical is the dialogue that with that dialogue I will generate or receive the enough information to generate the categories with the dialogue or between want to show only a little example. This is a theatrical script that we present in the community. We realize different events of communication, but I only want to show you a little. Esther said, I provoked to Esther because I gave you an theatrical script, but in Spanish, but from Spain, no from Mexico. And when she received the script, she went to home and she will write some jokes because she's a clown. But when she learned, she didn't understand anything because she was the script was from Spain. And she said, "Good morning, teacher," with a careful attitude. I didn't modify the theatrical script that you gave me yesterday because I didn't understand and it was very tender. I prefer to make one. You say it and tell me what do you think. This is her and in the notebook. And she told me the notebook with she rewrite the theatrical script, but she modified with the different social practices. And it was very interesting for me because she write about her everyday life. This is a little part of the theatrical script. Ana Laura, I will join my friends to promise that the Grinch is good. Run. Children, children, the Grinch is good. The Grinch is good. Sad to cry, I know it is good. And this is part is value if and feeling. If the Grinch cry, the Grinch is good person. And then Johnny, no, I don't think so. Always comes to him window and yell at us. And this is another value. And in this part, they show the violence, the yells. And in German, I think that Ana Laura is right. We'll give him an opportunity. And then Alma, but how will we do if he only gets out his house when he passed by? And when he decide, the the woman write about a song that the baker. The song is El panadero con el pan, el panadero con el pan, and the children dancing. And then Johnny say, I know, we will wait when the people of the opportunities give him some money. The opportunities is a program of government. And then the narrator, meanwhile, the Grinch dirtied his house. And the music is of Los Ángeles Azules. It's a famous group of Mexico, but a specific kind of music because this kind of music listen the people that live in vulnerable communities because it's cumbia. And this is analyzed. And then happened something very interesting for me. The children go to the classroom, and on the other hand, Marcos presents the theatrical script prepared by her mother into the classroom. Marcos, I bring the theatrical text. Could you read for me?
Yes. Okay, everything?
Not yes, please.
Marcos, I bring the theatrical text. He looked at his classmates, who wants him to read the script of the play. Several classmates got up their hands, began reading. Once upon a time, as they say in all the stories. Some girls repeated their dialogues. Marcos remained silent. Then he observed. Oh, you want me? She got up her hand. Teacher, can I help Marcos to read? Before answering. Oh, I know, I'll be the Grinch. As it is not here, my mom, I'll read. Come on, participate in the play. I looked and I did not intervene. Marcus organized, he was a narrator, and those who did not remember the dialogues came to read the theatrical script.
Yes. And it was very interesting because, well, you know why. And then when I realized different interviews, I talked to the mother, and she told me they left to start envision different opportunities that enrich their craft. It is the first time, this is words of the Esther, the mother, and she told me, it is the first time that I write, and right now, this is mine theatrical script. It made me feel safe. I know that I can do different activities besides like a clown. And then I said, yes, I can. And conclusion. Only I write that conclusion. The symmetrical relationships, it's about no knowledge. It's about relation. The symmetrical relationship built among children, mother, and teacher, so the commitment in the education community, and it was an important part. And gracias.